I'm in my car seat era. Are you? You must be if you're here. So today we are comparing the Clek Fllo and the Clek Foonf convertible car seats because you wouldn't be the first person to be like, these seats look pretty much the same. What really are the differences? Here I've got the Clek Foonf convertible car seat, and here I've got the Clek Fllo convertible car seat. Now, the core difference between these seats really comes down to this one main point. The Foonf can be installed in forward-facing mode with rigid latches. Rigid latches are your #1 safest method of car seat install. Now that we've got that aside, let's talk about more of the similarities and differences between these seats because despite looking near identical, there are some. So both of these seats you are going to use starting at 14 pounds and they have an upper weight maximum of 65 pounds. So you can use these seats from infant, 5 pounds and up, when you purchase an infant insert thingy sold separately. Now, your Foonf you're gonna use in rear-facing mode from 14 to 40 pounds. In forward-facing mode up to that 65-pound mark or 49 inches tall. The Fllo, you actually have extended rear-facing in. So you can use this seat in rear-facing mode from 14 to 50 pounds and in forward-facing mode up to that 65-pound mark or 49 inches tall. So you are getting an extra 10 pounds clearance in rear-facing mode with the Fllo. One of the other core differences between these seats is the energy management systems, which help to absorb impacts in the event of a collision. So with your Foonf, you are looking at a react system, whereas with the Fllo, you're looking at an eact system. What does that mean? That means rigid latch, energy absorption, crumple technology. This means eact, energy absorption crumple technology. So the difference there is just the rigid latches. Now, you've also got some differences in the rear-facing install for these seats. So with your Fllo, you're going to have a boot that pops out for rear-facing mode. And with the Foonf, when you install in rear-facing, you're actually going to have a wedge that goes underneath the seat to achieve the ideal angle. Both of these seats come with an anti-rebound bar and they both have multi-position adjustment of the headrest height. Now, the Foonf has a 3-position recline positions and the Fllo just comes with the 1 recline position. Now, both of these seats can be installed 3 across in most vehicles because they are only 17 inches wide. Also, the safety features on Clek convertible car seats are fantastic. You have a steel and aluminum substructure. You have really deep sidewalls for that side impact protection. Clek seats actually come with a limited lifetime warranty. I think I mentioned off the hop, they are a Canadian family-owned company, and the owners of Clek, who I have met several times myself, come from the automotive industry. So they really take the safety features that are put into the building of cars and vehicle seats, and they're pulling those right into your car seat, which is really reassuring to hear. Now, let's take a look at the installs for both the Foonf and the Fllo. So with your Fllo, you can do a rear-facing install with their soft latch or the vehicle seatbelt. You can do a forward-facing install with your vehicle seatbelt or the soft latch. With the Foonf, you can do a soft latch install or vehicle seatbelt install for rear-facing mode. And for forward-facing mode, you can use either the rigid latches and or your vehicle seatbelt. I say and or because that is one of the really cool things about the Foonf. It is one of the only car seats on the market that you can actually do a rigid latch install with your vehicle seatbelt also installed to really maximize the safety and just keeping that vehicle seatbelt attached to your car seat in the event of a collision, really creating that unity between car seat and vehicle seat. Now you will only want to use your rigid latches until your child is 48 pounds. Once they're 48 pounds, you're just gonna tuck them back up into the frame and continue using the vehicle seatbelt for your forward-facing install. Now, let's get into installs. Let's install our Clek Foonf in rear-facing mode. So first of all, I've already installed the anti-rebound panel. If you need any help installing or removing the anti-rebound panel, check out our other YouTube video. We've done a whole tutorial on just that. Then I've brought in my wedge. So this is your rear-facing wedge for the Foonf. It very easily just attaches to the base of your seat like such, and you are ready now to install on your vehicle seat. So I will lift my seat up, flip it around. Now the Foonf can be installed using the soft latches or your vehicle seatbelt. For the sake of today, I'm going to do an install using the vehicle seatbelt. So to do that, you're just going to release the base of the seat here. There's 2 clips on the bottom. Open up your seat. Now these are your lock-off panels. And you can see here that we've got a blue belt path there. So I will feed my vehicle seat belt, lap and shoulder belt through that belt path. Clipping it in. Then we are going to remove any excess tension or any excess slack, making sure that there are no twists and turns. Then I'm just going to close my lock-off panels here. 1. And 2. Then before I close this, you can actually see that this is where your soft latches would be. And then this is your install in rear-facing mode. I've got my anti-rebound bar. I will also remove and lock off my seatbelt and ensure that there's no excess tension, and we are ready to rock in rear-facing mode. Okay, now let's flow through this rear-facing install, shall we? So this is the Clek Fllo. First, we are going to put our boot into the rear-facing position. So this is the boot built into the base of the seat. You're just gonna flip it up, clip it in, and we've already got our anti-rebound bar on the seat. If you need installation instructions for how to put the anti-rebound bar on or off, check out our other video, which we will link in the description. Otherwise, we've got our seat ready to install. I'm going to open up the base of our seat and take that whole seat right off to really expose the bottom there. Here is our soft latches. So if we wanted to install using the soft latches, you could easily do so using the same method that you would ultimately use for the vehicle seatbelt, lock-offs, rear-facing belt path, and just attaching to the UAS connectors at the bottom of your vehicle seat. For today, I'm going to use our lap and shoulder belt from the vehicle seatbelt. We are just going to open our lock-off panels first, feed your lap and shoulder belt through the blue rear-facing belt path, clip it in, releasing any excess tension and slack. Then I will close these lock-off panels here. And we put our seat back on. The nice thing about this seat is that it can be so easily removed. So as your child is growing and they spill drinks or have an accident, it's very easy to remove this seat base and just give it a quick wash. We'll clip this back into place and you are ready to go in rear facing mode with the Clek Fllo. So just before we get into the forward-facing install, on that rear-facing install, don't forget to lock off your vehicle seatbelt. Make sure it ratchets so that it's all locked off and there's no excess slack at the end. Now let's dive into the forward-facing install on the Fllo. So I've already removed my anti-rebound bar And I've also flipped that boot. So this boot was in that rear facing position like this. I flipped it back into the forward facing position, tucking it away under the frame. Next up, you are going to take your rear tether, feed it through the back of your vehicle seatbelt, and get it ready to install once the seat itself is properly installed. So for your forward facing install, I'm going to do a vehicle seatbelt install with this. To do so, we are going to feed your lap and shoulder belt through the back of the frame here in this red belt path. We're just going to feed it around both sides. Then we are going to relieve any excess tension. Now you can see that our lap belt naturally falls into this red kind of holding case for it. Next, we're going to open up our lock off. So on the side of the shoulder belt, that is where the vehicle seat belt comes from, you are going to feed the shoulder belt through this lock off. You don't do it on both sides, only the side where your seat belt originates. Then we are just going to close this up. And again, lock off your vehicle seatbelt until you hear that ratcheting sound to remove any excess tension. Then we will, last step, clip in our rear facing tether, and you are ready to go in forward facing mode with your Clek Fllo. So we are ready to go in forward facing install for the Foonf. Now, in order to do that, I have changed the recline position of my seat, and I've also removed my anti-rebound bar. Now, to do your forward facing install, you're always going to want to bring out your top tether and feed that through the back of your vehicle seatbelt. Then with the Foonf, as you'll recall, we've got those rigid latches. So to release those rigid latches, there's just a button at the back of the seat here. You'll pull those latches out, connect them into the connectors on your seat, then pull that same rigid latch connection to push the seat snug against the back of your vehicle seat. Now, we have the option here to also install using the vehicle seat belt, so I'm going to do that. I'll pull out my lap and shoulder belt, then we're going to feed it through the back of the seat where you see this red, these red markings indicating the forward facing belt path. We will plug into the base of our vehicle seat, releasing any excess slack and making sure that we have no twists and turns. Now for this, we are going to lock off just the shoulder belt of the seatbelt on the side that the seatbelt comes from. So in this case, I'm going to push the shoulder belt of my seatbelt into this lock off, close it up, clip this closed, and we are locked and ready to go. Next, I'm going to clip in my top tether, releasing any excess slack, making sure that your vehicle, that the car seat is not moving more than 1 inch side to side, and you're ready to go in forward facing mode with the Foonf. Reminder again that once your child reaches 48 pounds, you will need to retract those rigid latches, which you will do so by just pulling on these red connectors here. So there you have it, the Clek Foonf versus the Clek Fllo. Let's summarize those core differences again. So the Fllo, rear facing until 50 pounds. Foonf, rear facing to 40 pounds. Foonf, rigid latch install, react energy absorption technology. Fllo does not have the rigid latch install. It uses a soft latch install and it has EACT energy absorption technology. The Foonf has a wedge that you're going to use for a rear facing install. The Fllo has a boot that is built into the base that you're just going to flip forward and backward. So what seat is right for you? We want to hear what direction you go. These seats are amazing. I really cannot attest to the safety and quality of Clek seats enough. They are such a favorite brand of mine. You know, at the end of the day, our goal at Bugz is to instill confidence in families navigating the early stages of parenthood. And a big way that we do that is through car seat education. So if you're still on your convertible car seat journey, trying to pick the perfect seat for you, don't forget to check our best of convertible car seat roundup video, as well as the individual in-depth product reviews on both of these seats here. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you on the next one.